that fans they're voting with their money, their pocketbooks right now, that they're not entertained by this brand of basketball. Sophie Cunningham, guys, she was the light of our life tonight. She went absolutely berserk, particularly in the fourth quarter. I do want to bring this up. When Brittany Sykes got hurt,
nobody saw this coming. Not the coaches, not the critics, and definitely not the people who spent months saying Caitlin Clark's style could never work in the WNBA. Because right now something is happening that has completely changed the conversation. The Indiana Fever are winning. Caitlin Clark just put together another monster performance. The league named her Player of the Week. And suddenly people who were questioning everything are becoming very quiet. But that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part is what happened after the game. Because while fans were celebrating another Fever victory, social media started noticing something strange. Something that completely changed the discussion. For months the debate was simple. Was Caitlin Clark the problem? Or was the system around her the problem? Nobody could agree. Every game created another argument. Every argument created another headline. And every headline created another controversy. Then came the performance that nobody could ignore.
When Caitlin Clark has that basketball in her hand, the best player in the league, the best point guard in the league, hands down, it ain't close, it ain't nothing to talk about. Caitlin Clark with another double-double, 21 points, 14 assists, as she did her part to secure a victory for the Indiana Fever. She also contributed 5 rebounds, but the shooting was awful. And I'm going to be real, Caitlin, mama, I need you to make shots. I need you to make shots. Caitlin Clark didn't hit her first 3 until late in the fourth quarter. She was 1 of 8 from 3, 5 of 15 from the floor. Okay, off shooting nights happen. She shot nearly 50% last week, nearly 40% from 3, while she became Player of the Week. But hey man, we got high expectations. I need Cece to make shots, but this was still a quality game. We're gonna get into the Clark.
21 points, 14 assists, total control. The kind of game that forces people to stop talking and start paying attention. That's when everything changed. Because this wasn't just another win. This wasn't just another stat line. This was evidence. Evidence that the version of the Fever fans had been asking for might finally be showing up. And according to supporters, that's exactly why emotions are running so high right now. Because the moment Clark started playing freely, the entire offense looked different. The pace looked different. The confidence looked different. The results looked different. And suddenly the same team that looked stuck weeks ago started looking dangerous. Very dangerous.
She ended the game the other day shooting the lights out from 3. She shot the lights out from 3 in this game. And this is how last year started. When Sophie Cunningham went on about a 6-week tear that absolutely contributed to this team somehow, some way making the playoffs last year. It was Sophie Cunningham. If you go back and look at her three-point shooting last year for about 6 weeks, she went bananas. Well, it looks like we're starting that all over again. By the way, let's just keep it real. I brought it up during this game. I posted it early on. Until Sophie went absolutely bananas with three-pointers tonight, this crowd was dead. This crowd was not fired up in the least bit. Here we go. Caitlin Clark right here, splitting the D. Let's check it out. Let's check it out right there to Monique Billings. And look, Caitlin Clark had 14 assists tonight. You know, at one point I thought Caitlin Clark had a chance to get 20 assists tonight. No kidding. Can we have an uncomfortable conversation about the fact that it's time for Sophie to start over Lexi Hull? There, I said it. I said it out loud. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I said it. Sophie Cunningham. Let's check it. Let's check it right here. Caitlin out to Sophie. One side step. Boom. Knocked it down. Beautiful. And she would just keep knocking them down. Let's go.
On the layup. Fever.
Caitlin again to Sophie. Boom. Knocked it down again. Sophie was on a tear. And she showed it right here.
That's where Sophie Cunningham entered the story. Because every winning streak creates confidence. And confidence changes everything. Fans immediately started talking about the energy surrounding the team. The chemistry. The trust. The belief. And whether the Fever were finally becoming the team everyone expected before the season even started. Meanwhile, another name started appearing everywhere. Amber Cox. Because executives notice winning. They notice momentum. And they definitely notice when one player completely changes the direction of a franchise. That's why fans suddenly became obsessed with one question. How much of this success is actually connected to Caitlin Clark's style of basketball? And according to supporters, the answer is becoming harder and harder to ignore. The Fever are winning. The offense is exploding. The crowd is engaged.
On social media, not who made the damn half-court shot, because this Indiana Fever team misses entirely too many layups. Caitlin Clark could have had 20 assists today if people made layups. Aaliyah Boston smoked the layup. Lexi Hall smoked the layup. Sophie Cunningham smoking layups. I mean, people smoking layups. Michaela Timpson smoking layups. Like, the layup thing is getting very, very ridiculous. Straight up, it's getting very, very ridiculous, man. We got to get into Sophie Cunningham. Blonde Bomber. Sophie Cunningham is still on fire from Connecticut, guys. Sophie Cunningham got on a heater in Connecticut, went on an 11-0 run to close out the Connecticut Sun, and she stayed on that heater today off the bench in 24 minutes. Sophie Cunningham was 8 of 11 from the floor, 6 of 7 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. She had 6 rebounds and poured in 24 points off the bench. Sophie was on fire. She didn't miss her first shot until like damn near fourth quarter. Sophie Cunningham was on fire. Defense on point, making every three damn near. Sophie Cunningham is definitely providing that spark, and that punch off the bench offensively that the Indiana Fever need, because let's be real, Raven Johnson can't score off the bench. Maisha Hines-Allen isn't a scorer off the bench. Michaela Timpson can't score off the bench. We don't have no bench scoring. So it's like, if Sophie Cunningham does not score for us off the bench, we're not getting points off the bench, guys. That's just the reality of the situation with this Indiana Fever roster. Now, Maisha Hines-Allen went out. She got hit in the face. Blood was everywhere. I thought the refs was absolute garbage. They was dog crap in this game. Maisha Hines-Allen gets hit in the face. Blood everywhere. No whistle. Caitlin Clark getting hit. First 3 drives of the game. No fouls, no whistles. The refs, I thought y'all was supposed to be better. I thought y'all was supposed to call more fouls, bro. This is kind of crazy. The refs was trash. Caitlin Clark is getting fouled nonstop. You know, Caitlin Clark, you got to make your free throws. You missed 4 free throws today. I don't know what happened. But that does not need to happen again. But the Indiana Fever took care of business. Marina Mabry did try to go on a flurry in the second and third quarter. I think she had 11 in the second quarter. She finished the game with...
The numbers are improving. And the conversation is changing. Fast. The scary part? Many fans believe this is only the beginning. Because if Clark is producing performances like this now, what happens when the chemistry becomes even better? What happens when the offense becomes even smoother? What happens when the confidence becomes even stronger? That's the question keeping rival fan bases awake right now. Not what Caitlin Clark is doing today, what she might do next. Because if this version of the Fever is real, the rest of the league has a serious problem. And according to many supporters, that's exactly why so many people suddenly look shocked. Not because Caitlin Clark is succeeding, because she's succeeding in the exact way critics said she couldn't. And that's what makes this story impossible to ignore.